Attempting to blend the old with the new, Assassin's Creed Valhalla tries to be the best of all the games that have come before. But even hours in, the game struggles to make itself stand out. The visuals are fantastic, and the gameplay makes great use of the best AC systems from previous games. But the English setting and the underwhelming story make for a passable, if unexciting title in the series. Let's find out why in our Busy Gamer review of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Welcome back to No Time Gamer. Subscribe for more content to help your gaming sessions be time well spent. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you control Eivor as either a male or female, or both if you let the game choose to change it based on the story progression. In my playthrough, I chose the male character, so I'll refer to them as such. Eivor is the adopted younger brother of Sigurd, a Viking leader whose clan members raid England after losing his claim to the throne in Norway. But before you set sail, you'll spend a few hours in Norway in what equates to a very long prologue tutorial. It sets up the story and also slowly introduces you to all of the game's mechanics. But this is a drag if you have played either of the previous two entries. After that, Eivor and Sigurd land in Mercia with their crew and establish a new settlement. From there, it's your choice on how to progress and raise your influence in the island. Form alliances with kings or kill them to set up your own instead. Main storyline quests will guide you across the island, but you are free to do what you wish. This is one of my favorite aspects of the game. You can choose to sneak through the hillside to collect loot and clear forts, or you can go straight into your longship and traverse the rivers with your crew if you prefer to be a bit louder. The game is centered around your settlement called Ravensthorpe, named after your family, the Raven clan. Here you can construct useful buildings to unlock upgrades, quests, and shops. The base building is very simple. Collect supplies, create the building. There isn't much more to it than that. It's disappointing how basic it is, but at the same time, you don't spend much time at your base, so this makes sense. Most of the game is spent everywhere else on the island, completing quests and killing people, while stopping back every so often when the main storyline needs you to. And speaking of the story, it didn't hook me like the last two titles. You sought to avenge your son in Origins and went on a journey to discover the truth about your family in Odyssey. But in Valhalla, your goal is to conquer England. Yes, I enjoyed raiding monasteries and churches as much as the next guy, but the lack of a redemption arc or underdog tale didn't make me want to continue fighting against evil to set things right. To be fair, I've yet to complete the entire main storyline. As a busy gamer, this game has a lot to do and I'll be playing it on and off throughout the next year to see how it ends. Eivor does have visions that connect him with Odin and other gods, and I'm sure this leads somewhere interesting, but it doesn't mean much in the first 20 hours of play. Besides main story quest, the world is filled with mysteries that give lore and insight to the world through side missions that have you completing a variety of random objectives. These aren't required to do, but are a fun way to keep things fresh. I'll commend Ubisoft for making a noticeable effort to merge the best aspects of the older AC games with the newer ones. They removed Odyssey's excessive MMO grind of unnecessary but still very cool loot and the level capping system that limited progression from certain areas or quests. But they kept the good additions like the perk tree and the special abilities. Since you are not a demigod anymore, abilities were drawn back to a more realistic and not magical like teleporting or being able to summon fire onto your blades. Instead, you can do things like pretend to be dead, or one of my favorites, gain a scorpion-like chain to pull your enemies toward yourself. Gameplay is similar to the previous two games in the series, but does have some small changes that impact the combat in a big way. The most obvious shift is the addition of the stamina bar. This makes continuously spamming roll or dodge impossible. It punishes the player for missing heavy attacks because less stamina is used when they land on an opponent. Falling damage returns too, which can catch you off guard if you're still used to surviving jumps from colossal structures. Stealth also feels like older titles. Put your hood up and sneak around unwanted areas, blend into the general population, and of course, hide in piles of hay waiting on whichever unlucky guard happens to cross you. More importantly, the reliable one-hit assassination from the shadows is back and even works on some elite level enemies if you manage to hit the crit timer. The three different sliders for difficulty, combat, stealth, and exploration make sneaking around even more fun and challenging because you can set it to be really punishing if detected. I chose to use a very exploration and stealth focused difficulty to immerse myself in the world. One of the things I questioned in the early hours of the gameplay was how much I enjoyed being in the world. Ancient Egypt and Greece were so much fun to explore because of all the epic history and the tales of those times. But England wasn't as engrossing with the drab environments and smaller city structures. The world is beautifully made, but time will tell if I put over 100 hours into this game over the next year like I did for the last two entries. I really like exploring these worlds to learn about the history, which is why I love Assassin's Creed so much. Ubisoft really put in the attention to detail to bring these worlds to life. If you don't like the history and haven't been a fan of the last few AC games, this game might not be for you. So for busy gamers, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is time somewhat well spent. Did you enjoy either of the last two AC games like Origins and Odyssey? If so, let us know in the comments. While you're here, why not check out our review of AC Odyssey or this other video right here.